we discuss test process in complete continuation. First, first phase planning, second phase generating basic tests, third phase enhancing tests. In that enhancing tests, we are discussing automation objects. See, we discussed file system object, Excel application object. See, VB script has several object models, but our test automation point of view, 4 or 5 object models important. Next, word object model. Word application operations. You can easily guess the purpose of word application object. Here we create word application object. Using word application object, we can perform word application operations, automatic word application operations. Word application object. See, it is used to perform automatic word application operations. Next, class value. Class value for creating word application object. Word dot application. You have to by heart these class values. No context help for getting class values. Word dot application. Word dot application. Next, database operations. Database operations. Say file system object is single object, Excel object also single object, word application single object, but in database area we have 3 object models. Our test automation point of view, 2 automation object models important. One is database connection object. Database connection object. What is the purpose of database connection object? It is used to connect to databases. Any database. Connection string only vary from one object, one database to another. Connection string only varies from one database to another, but object is same. It is used to connect to databases, any database. Here what is the difference? Connection string. What is connection string? That we will discuss in parameterization chapter. Connection string only varies from one database to another. Next, class value. ADODB dot connection. ADODB. ActiveX data objects database. ADODB dot connection. Next, database record set object. Database record set object. It is used to perform operations on database tables. It is used to perform operations on database tables, nothing but records. Class value ADODB dot record set. ADODB dot record set. Next, dictionary object. Dictionary. Dictionary object. Have any idea, Anita, what is dictionary object? Okay, cool, cool. Jay Shetty, any idea about dictionary object? Uh, no, invalid description. Okay, put mute. Dictionary object. It is used to define key comma value pairs. It is equivalent to associated array in Perl script. Okay, what is array, what is associated array, that we will discuss in VB script chapter. Just remember, it is used to define key. Key means index. Key value, key and value pairs. See, class value scripting dot dictionary. Scripting dot dictionary. See, these are the important object models for our test automation. Creating object is common. Set variable equal to create object of class name. Okay. Now tell me, Jay Shetty, what is file system object, purpose and class value? Quick. You tell me, Silpa, what is file system object, purpose, class value? No, that is what is computer file system. I am asking file system object. It is used to work with drives, folders and files. It is used to work with drives, folders and files. What is the class value for creating file system object? Okay, good. Put mute. Next, Anita, Excel application object, purpose, class value. Ah, yes, good. Excel dot application. Next, Arjun, Word application object. Hmm. Okay. Next, Surendra, database connection object. Hmm. Okay. Shivram, database record set object. Hmm. Record set. Next, Sultana, dictionary object. Clarity, maintain the clarity. What is dictionary object? Okay, okay, okay. Put mute. You tell me, Kamal, what is dictionary object? Ah, good. You need to remember class values. Next, say nearly 13 methods, enhancing methods we discussed. One more also there, important one, 12, 13. Okay. Error handling. Error handling. Say we use scripting for applying programming logic in our automation. So we need to familiar with this error handling. See, writing the code is simple. Most of the time, writing the code is simple. Protecting the code is difficult. Error handling. Handling expected and unexpected errors. Handling expected and unexpected errors. What is expected error? Suppose if we use invalid username or password, definitely we can expect error. Why we use invalid data? For negative testing. Sometimes we use invalid input intentionally for negative testing. See, expected error. When we get expected errors, whenever we use invalid input, then we get expected errors. Some scenarios for unexpected errors. Suppose we are fetching data from a database. Our scripting logic is correct. We are fetching 1 to 100 records. Yesterday executed the script executed properly, but today somebody deleted 80 to 100 records. After 79th record, it will show error. That is unexpected error. See, resource means data file or database. Resource available but insufficient. Insufficient resource, that is one of the scenario for unexpected errors. Next, another is availability of resource. Suppose we are fetching data from a database or Excel file. Our scripting logic is correct, but somebody deleted that resource file. If you execute that script will show error. That is unexpected error. See, one is resource, insufficient resource. Next, availability of resource. Availability of resource. Understand the concept, Arjun? For unexpected errors, give some scenarios for unexpected errors. Mm. 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 See, huh? Okay, see two scenarios, two different scenarios. One is insufficient records, insufficient resource, insufficient resource. Another is availability of resource, resource not available. Say, for handling expected and unexpected errors, VB script has some features and UFT tool feature also there, that is recovery scenarios. Say, using conditional statements, using conditional statements, we can handle some type of errors. Next, using some built-in functions, using some built-in functions. Next, using option explicit statement, See, this is error prevention mechanism. We will discuss option explicit in VB script variables chapter. Next, using exit statement. Using exit statement. It is used to terminate loops. Exit for, exit do. Next, using on error resume next. On error resume next statement. See, what is the functionality of on error resume next? If any error is there, don't stop the execution, skip the error and continue. When to choose, when not to choose. Suppose there is no impact on final output, choose on error resume next. If any impact on final output, don't choose. Okay, anyhow, that we will discuss in VB script. See, these are the important features for error handling. Next, UFT tool feature also there. Regular expressions, recovery scenarios. Recovery scenarios. This is UFT tool feature. See, these are the important methods for enhancing tests. Sorry. See, nearly 14 methods we discussed. Can you list out those methods, Anita? Enhancing tests. We have some tool features and script features. You can use only tool features or only script features or both. You can use both. Some tool features, some script features. Tell me, Anita. Okay. Can you tell me, Brenda? Yes, inserting checkpoints, parameterization. Continue, Arjun. Arjun, continue. Continue, Arjun. Yes. 3, 4, 5. Defining test results. Mm. 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 1 minute. That is comes under automation objects. Before that, calling actions functions. Next, using automation objects. We have several automation objects in VB script. Our test automation point of view, 4 or 5 object models important. File system object model, Excel object model, Word object model, database object models, and dictionary object. Next, regular expressions. Inserting flow control statements, conditional and loop statements. Error handling. Okay, come to next phase. So far we discussed the 3 phases of UFT test process. First one is planning, second one generate basic tests, third one enhance tests, put mute, fourth one debugging and running tests. First running. See, fourth phase, running means executing. Running and debugging tests. Running tests is mandatory. Tool can execute tests. Next, debugging tests optional. Debugging tests optional. First of all, what is debugging? It is programming term, development term. We are using scripting logic. That's why you need to familiar with this debugging term. Locating and isolating errors through step-by-step execution. locating and isolating errors through step-by-step execution. Debugging is optional when it is required. Say, suppose I created 100 tests in my project, 97 tests executing properly and providing desired output. You no need to debug them. For remaining 3 tests only, you can use debugging. See, debugging is optional. When it is required, uh, whenever test is not showing any errors and not providing correct output, there debugging is required. Observe, I will explain 3 scenarios. First scenario, test is not showing any errors and providing correct output. No debugging required. Why? Test is providing correct output. Not showing any errors and providing correct output. No debugging required. Second scenario, test is showing errors. Here also debugging not mandatory. First correct the errors. Most of the time you can get correct output, otherwise you can debug. Next, third scenario, typical scenario, test is not showing any errors and not providing correct output. Here debugging is mandatory. When this type of situation occurs, suppose at one point of time I have to use x equal to a plus b. As per our test requirement, this is the desired formula, but mistakenly I used multiplication operator instead of addition operator. Script point of view, it is not error. As per that operator, it evaluates. See, logic point of view, it is not error. It is not either syntax error or runtime error. It is human error. See, in order to locate this type of errors, debugging is required. Can you tell me, Anita, what is debugging when it is required in our automation?
Sir, debugging means locating and isolating the error step by step.
Locating and isolating errors through step-by-step execution. Next, when debugging is required in UFT test automation?
When the test is not showing error,
Mm.
not showing any error, and
Mm.
the output is incorrect.
Test is not showing any errors and not providing correct output. There, debugging is required. Okay, na Arjun? Debugging is not mandatory for every test, na? Okay, cool. See how to debug. For debugging, we use debug commands. Debugging commands and breakpoint. Just a minute. In this debugging tests, important one. What is debugging? Next, when debugging is required. Next, how to debug. See how to debug using debugging commands and breakpoints. Here important debug commands. Step into what is the functionality that we will discuss in debugging test chapter. Now just indexing the concept. Step into shortcut key F11. Next, step over shortcut key F10, you need to remember shortcut keys. Why? Otherwise, you need to navigate that run menu every time. If you know the shortcut keys, you can quickly execute step by step. Next, step out, shift F11, plus only understanding purpose. Shift F11. Next, breakpoint. It pauses the execution. Shortcut key F9. Next, running tests. Running or executing tests. Running tests. See, we have three types of execution. First one is step by step execution. Step by step execution. How to conduct the step by step execution? Using debug commands. Debug commands. Next, single test run. First one, statement run. Step means statement. One statement at a time. Next, test at a time. At a time means executing continuously. Single test run using a run command. A run command. Next, batch run. Test batch execution. Test batch run. See, for batch testing, we have four possibilities in UFT. We will introduce all possibilities. Based on your company environment, you can follow. First possibility, using test batch runner tool. Using test batch runner tool. Second possible, test batch runner. It is integrated. It is an integrated tool from HP. This tool not available in UFT tool main window, outside of the window. Next, using AOM script, automation object model. Using AOM script. Here we create a quick test application object. Quick test application object. See, earlier we discussed some automation object models. File system object model, Excel object model, database object models, etc. Those are global models. But this QTP application object is local object, exclusively created for UFT test automation. File system object, Excel object, global models for all types of scripting. VB script not only for test automation. See, web developers use VB script for client-side scripting in the web and server-side scripting in the web. Network administrators use VB script for network administration and system administration. Testers use VB script for test automation. VB script has several advantages. One of the advantages is automation. See, file system. Now tell me, Surendra, why file system object model, Excel object model are global models and QTP application object model is local model? Jay Shetty, respond. Say yes or no. Huh. Hmm. Less clarity. Increase the clarity, Shivram. Why file system object model, Excel object model are global models and QTP is local model. QTP application object is local model.
So those file system objects are used by VB script.
Mm. For all types of scripting, those models for all types of scripting. VB script not only for UFT. See, several advantages of VB script. Client-side scripting in the web. Web developers use client-side scripting in the web, server-side scripting in the web, network administration, system administration, and test automation. See, file system object model, Excel object model, Word object model, those are global models for all types of scripting. But this QTP application object exclusively created for UFT test automation. It can't be used in other areas. Suppose for network administration, system administration, and web development, it won't be used. Got the point, Shivaram?
Yeah, got it, sir.
Okay, cool. Next, using driver script. This driver script also UFT test. We create and use driver script in automation framework. In automation framework chapter, we will discuss this driver script. Next, using ALM tool, application lifecycle management. It is test management tool from HP. Using if you integrate UFT with ALM, then you can execute test batches from ALM. See, these are the possibilities. Tell me, Sultana. See, we have four possibilities for batch testing in UFT test automation. What are the four possibilities for batch testing? Sultana Parvin.
That is batch execution series of tests, then step by step execution using
Just a minute, Sultana. Just a minute. What is my question?
yeah.
What are the four possibilities for batch step? That is types of test run. Okay.
Oh,
Uh,
so using test batch test like
using test batch runner tool.
runner tool,
Mm,
then also like using driver script,
uh,
UFT,
uh,
then also like using quality center or ALM tool,
uh. Using AOM script. One more possibility.
automation object.
Automation object model. Here we create quick test application object. Okay.
Application.
See. See, next phase, analyzing test results. Tell me, Anita, analyzing test results. Is it a tool responsibility or tester responsibility, user responsibility?
Tester response.
Yes, tester responsibility. But tool provides necessary interface. But tester has to analyze the test result. See, analyze, analyze test result, test result. See here, one of the concept is UFT result window. UFT result window. See, UFT provides test result for every test iteration. UFT provides test result for every test iteration. What is the difference between test and test iteration, Surendra? Sivaram. Tell me, Surendra.
Test is like test iteration means repeating the same test multiple times.
Test iteration means cycle of execution. Suppose one test is there, if you execute the test 10 times, 10 iterations, 10 test results. Result 1, result 2, result 3, like that. Isn't it? UFT provides test result for every test iteration. Okay. Next, define test result. Define test result. When we need, see, we can define test result also using reporter utility object that we will discuss in practical chapter. We can define test result. When we need to define test result, already we discussed this concept. Brenda, when user need to define test result? When user need to define test result? Arjun, the UFT provides test result for,
So can I say something?
tell me.
Maybe when we are using our own logic,
Uh,
that's when the test result has to be defined.
who is telling?
Anita sir,
Okay, okay. Yes.
maybe I'm wrong sir, but I'm not sure.
Repeat once again.
When the tester is using his own logic
Uh,
in the UFT, then it has to be defined.
yes, correct, correct answer, correct answer. Say, UFT provides test result for every test iteration if we use UFT tool features like checkpoints, checkpoints, transaction points, next output values, synchronization point, etc. Next, when user need to define test result, see, if user means tester, if user uses own logic, then user need to define tester results. Suppose if we use checkpoint, then UFT can provide test result. Instead of checkpoint, if we use conditional statement, if x greater than y, then do something. UFT doesn't know about your logic. You need to define test result. See how to define test result using a reporter utility object. What is utility object? We will discuss. Just remember this one. Using reporter utility object, we can define test result. Okay. Next, status of results in UFT. See, result status. Status of test results. One is pass. Pass. When we get pass status, if expected equal to actual, if expected, if expected equal to actual, then you can get pass status. Next, fail status. When we get fail status, if expected not equal to, in VB script not equal to symbol diamond operator. Okay, if expected not equal to actual, then fail status. Next, one more status, done. When we get done status, Suppose there is no verification points in our test. There is no verification point in our test. That time only done. Plain execution means test executed without errors. No verification points. See, no verification points. Next, test executing without errors. This is done status. See, when we get done status, when we get pass fail, that we will discuss in defining test results chapter. Or just I am this one indexing this concept. So next, one more status, warning status. When we get warning status, suppose any, can you guess this one, Anita Raj? When we get warning status,
When something goes wrong.
if any interruption, during, if any errors or interruption during test execution, then we get warning status. See, these are the four types. Tell me, Shivaram, we have four types of result status in UFT test automation. What are the four types of result status? Hmm. Hmm. Warning. Okay. Next, see. Next one, last phase of UFT test process, reporting defects. Reporting defects. Tell me, Kamal, is it tester responsibility or tool responsibility?
Sir, it's a tester responsibility.
Tester responsibility. See, but tool provides necessary interface. See, in the industry, different combinations available. Based on your company environment, you can follow. I will introduce different combinations. See, I will give one I will explain one small case study. Concentrate. Functional test automation. Functional test automation versus defect management. Defect management. Suppose for functional test automation, our company using UFT tool, defect management manual using Excel spreadsheet manual. At that time, after analyzing the test results in UFT, launch your company prescribed template, enter defect details and send through your company mailing system. This is one of the combination. Next, for functional test automation, our company using UFT tool. For defect management, any tool, suppose Bugzilla or anyone or Jira, etc. See, after analyzing the test result in UFT, launch defect management tool. Every tool provides their own template. Open defect report template, enter defect details and send. Next, another combination. Suppose for functional test automation, our company using UFT tool, defect management, for test management, our company using ALM. In between UFT and ALM, two-way integration available. Two-way integration means we can communicate ALM from UFT and vice versa. After analyzing the test result in UFT, you can send defects directly from UFT result window to ALM project. If you integrate UFT with ALM, after analyzing the test results in UFT result window, you can send defects directly to ALM project from result window. Okay na, Jay Shetty? What are the three important combinations? Hmm. 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 Any defect management tool? Hmm. Hmm. What is the advantage of using that last combination, integration with UFT and ALM? We can directly send defects from UFT result window to ALM project. See, by integrating UFT with, see, observe, note, by integrating UFT with ALM, defects can be sent directly from UFT result window to ALM project. See, this is a brief introduction about UFT test process. Just before going to next topic, tell me, Arjun, just phase headings. 6 phases in this UFT test process. What are the 6 phases?
First one is planning phase.
Hmm.
The second one is generating the basic test.
Hmm.
Third one is
Enhancing tests.
enhancing test.
Ah.
And third one is execution.
Hmm.
Oh,
Third one over. First one planning, second one generating basic test, third one enhancing test, fourth one
running and debugging test.
yes, running and debugging tests. Next, fifth one
Reporting defects.
analyzing test results. Last one reporting defects. Okay, these are 6 phases. Say tomorrow onwards we will discuss concepts according to this test process, according to this index. And I want to introduce 2 more basic concepts, fundamentals, concentrate. One is general topic.
Yes, yes, sir. 1 minute. Sorry to stop.
Okay. Continue.
One general question out of curiosity.
Hmm.
You said UFT and ALM can work in an integrated environment, right?
Hmm.
Same way, QTP and ALM can also work like that?
Yes. See, this integration not from UFT. See, from 2005 itself. You can integrate QTP with test director, QTP with quality center, now latest version also. But you have to check the compatibilities. Suppose QTP 9 can integrate with quality center 9. QTP 10, QTP 11 can integrate with quality center 9 version. You check that compatibility, but QTP can integrate with ALM. Hello?
Yes, sir. Got it.
Okay, cool. See, 2 more basic concepts, general concepts, types of objects. Types of objects in UFT test automation. Types of objects in UFT test automation. Say our tool is object based test tool. Already we discussed. in our test automation, we work with four types of objects. See, we work with four types of objects. Four types of objects. First one, runtime objects. Runtime objects. What is runtime object? The object present in the application. Put mute.
Excuse me, sir, I'm coming.
Okay. See, what is runtime object? The object present in the application is called runtime object. See, this OK is runtime object, cancel is runtime object, help is runtime object. See, some are saying the object participating in execution is called runtime object. Some objects may not participate in execution. See, generic definition is objects that present in the application called runtime objects. Tell me, Anita, runtime objects?
The objects that are present in the application are called runtime.
Yes. The objects that present in the application, software application, are called runtime objects. Runtime objects. Okay. Example, buttons, edit boxes, etc. See, status of runtime objects. One more concept. Status or state of. State means status. State of runtime objects. One is enabled. Enabled is one status. Enabled means object is in enabled state, means ready to perform operation on it. Example, this OK button is enabled, cancel is enabled, help is enabled. Just a minute. Now observe, bottom, left to right, three buttons. Update order, delete order, insert order. Update order button is in enabled state, delete order button also, insert order button. What is the state of insert order button, Arjun? Disabled. Disabled. Next, visible. Object visible. Enabled or not? Enabled or disabled? Object is visible. Next, hidden. Object is not visible at this point of time. May be visible after performing some operations. Hidden. Next, one more status also there. Identify that status, Brenda. One more status of runtime object. Observe here agent name 8box. Silpa. Sivaram. One more status of runtime objects. Observe agent name 8box. You can find one difference between agent name 8box and password 8box. Means cursor is there means focused na. If you enter any data, it enters into agent name. Otherwise, you can change the focus. Focused. See, these are the state of runtime objects. Tell me, Sivaram, state of runtime objects.
Those are enabled objects, disabled,
Ah,
visible,
ah,
hidden, and focused.
focused. Okay. Next, second type, test objects. See, this runtime objects term, this is global term. See, irrespective of the environment, we call buttons as buttons. Button is button, edit box is edit box, checkbox is checkbox. If it is Java environment or SAP environment or PeopleSoft or web, any environment. See, this is global. Next, test object term is local, only in UFT test automation. This is local term. What is test object? Just a minute. Just a minute. I am going to operate three buttons in three different environments. Put mute. Okay. Three buttons in three different environments. See, cancel, clear, Google search. See, remember, whenever you perform any operation on child object, parent-child hierarchy required. See here, you clicked on that cancel button child object of dialog, parent-child hierarchy mandatory. Okay, see, runtime object. What is this cancel? Cancel is button. In Google homepage, Google search is button. In VB calculator, clear is button. How it's stored? See, runtime object name same, irrespective of the environment. But how it's stored? Observe Arjun. What is this one? Win button. Next, VB button. Next, web button. What is this win button? What is this VB button and web button? Understand the concept, Anita? We are calling runtime object button, but it's stored win button, VB button, web button. What are these? Silpa, Surendra,
No, these are child objects,
child objects not.
test of application.
Okay, say these are test objects. Test objects. What is test object? Reference of runtime object. Test object. Reference of runtime object. Suppose if you join in any company, they give employee ID. That is reference of employee. Student roll number. Reference of student. See, same way, what is test object? Reference of runtime object. Here it is showing win button, VB button, web button. See, test object names vary from one environment to another. See, win button means button in Windows environment. VB button, buttons in VB environment. Web button, button in web environment. But you no need to remember test object names. Say, if you want to create test using recording, tool can generate test script. If you want to type test script manually, you need to remember test object names. If you want to generate tests manually, you need to remember test object names. Not required. See, object spy is there. Object spy is there. Using object spy, you can get test objects information. Just a minute. Spy is there. Object spy is there. Using object spy, you can get test objects information. Just a minute. Using object spy, you can get test objects information. Observe. Tools, object spy, take hand icon, show the clear button. Observe class name. Arjun, what is the class name value? Yellow marking.
Sir, I am not able to see what you are performing. I mean, internet is very slow, I guess.
Your internet.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay. You tell me, Anita,
So VB button is the class name.
VB button. Next, I am showing this cancel button. Now tell me.
Win button is the value.
Yes, win button.
Button.
Next, Google search. Just a minute. What is the class name?
Web button.
Web button. You don't need to remember test object names now.
Yes, sir.
Even though you want to create test scripts manually, you no need to remember. Why? Object spy is there. Using object spy, you can get object information. Okay. Say this win button, VB button, web button, test object. What is test object? Reference. Reference of runtime object is called test object. Next point, test object names. Test object names vary from one environment to another. One environment to another. How to get test object names, Sultana? How to get test object names? How to get test object names? Just now we discussed. Brenda, concentrate. Yes, using object spy. Using object spy, we can get test object values. See, I will give one small case study. Concentrate. A runtime object versus test object. Runtime object versus test object. Put mute. See, somebody is to make noise. Avoid that one. Suppose runtime object. Here test object. I will give. I will take some environments. Suppose standard Windows environment, Visual Basic environment, next web environment. See, suppose runtime object button. If it is Windows environment, Win button. If it is VB environment, VB button. You can get that names using object spy, VB button. If it is web environment, web button, single word. Next, edit box. Edit box. If it is Windows environment, Win edit. VB environment, VB edit. If it is web environment, web edit. Suppose browser, Browser object, Windows environment, not applicable, not applicable. Next, browser only. Sometimes test object names and runtime object names same, sometimes different. Sometimes runtime object names and test object names same, but concept same. Example, test object is reference of runtime object only. Sometimes names might be same, but test object is reference of runtime object only. Browser. Next, page, not applicable, not applicable. See, page only. Next, link, not applicable, not applicable. Link, link only. See, sometimes runtime object names, test object names different, sometimes same. Okay. Next, if you want to get complete test objects information in any environment, see, go to Tools menu, Object Identification. Here, select environment. Suppose I want web environment. Here, all 16 classes of object available. Suppose if you want Visual Basic, see Visual Basic. Okay, Nanita. Test objects. Tell me what is test object?
Test object is a reference point for, reference for runtime object.
Yes, reference of runtime object. And test object names vary from one environment to another. Next, using object spy, we can get test object names. Okay. Next, here also some types of test objects. Put mute. Types. Constant test object means whose property values are fixed. Whose property values are fixed. Constant test object. Next, dynamic test object. Dynamic objects. You can say dynamic object. Constant object, dynamic object. Next, duplicate object. What is constant object? Generally we say just a test object whose property values fixed, whose property values are fixed. Next, dynamic object whose property values change dynamically throughout the execution. Just a minute, I will show on dynamic. See, this OK button is constant object. See, all 6 objects in this login dialog, all are constant objects only. See, 99% constant objects. Suppose fax order. Observe Silpa. This is dialog box. What is the label of this dialog box? Name of the dialog box? Fax order number 1. Okay. Next, just a minute. Now tell me, Silpa, what is the label? Same object. What is the name of the fax order number? 6. See, earlier 1, this time 6. See, this is a dynamic object. How to handle dynamic objects? Any idea, Anita, how to handle dynamic objects?
No, sir, I'm not sure.
Okay, for constant objects, no handling required. For dynamic objects, using regular expressions. Next, duplicate object. See, two or more objects with similar description. Two or more objects with similar description. How to handle duplicate objects? Using index property. Using index property. See, object index starts from 0, 0 to n minus 1, 0 to n minus 1, top left to bottom right. See, suppose in your web page, 10 buttons are there with same names, 0 to index 0 to 9, top left to bottom right. See, types of objects, test objects, constant object, dynamic object, duplicate object. Tell me, Arjun, how to handle dynamic and duplicate objects? Shivaram, how to handle dynamic and duplicate objects? Index property. Index property. Okay. Next, third one. See, runtime objects, test objects. Third one, utility objects. Utility objects. Utility objects also local, exclusively created for UFT test automation. Say, they are UFT reserved objects used for testing and result reporting. Today I will introduce one utility object. Day by day we will discuss remaining utility objects. But every utility object is unique. Suppose system util purpose is different, reporter utility object purpose is different, services utility object purpose is different. Every utility object is unique. See, generic definition, they are UFT reserved objects used for testing and result reporting. See, today I will introduce one utility object, system util. This is one utility object. What is the purpose of system util? For launching software applications. Syntax. See, if it is Windows based application, if it is Windows based app, syntax is system util dot run. Run is method on this object. Next, within double quotes, path of the AUT, application under test. Next, if it is web based, system util dot run. Next, path of the browser, comma URL. See, example. System util dot CUFT provides context help run. Next, within double quotes, path of the application. Just a minute. Next, web application. System util not case sensitive dot run. Next, within double quotes, path of the browser. Run the script. See, Windows application. Next, web application. Okay, na Shivaram? See, day by day we will discuss some more utility objects. Today, just a system util. Tell me, Silpa, what are utility objects?
They are used for they are UFT reserved objects
Ah,
and result report.
yes, they are UFT reserved objects used for testing and result reporting. See, next last one. Today only we discussed automation objects. Automation objects. What are automation objects? Automation objects are user-defined objects used to work with drives, folders, files, and databases. See, they are user-defined objects. See, automation objects names also local. You can use your own names. Suppose test object name standard, win button, VB button, web button. They are standard. You can't change that values. Next, utility object names standard. But automation objects you can use your own names. User defined objects, they are but global. VB script feature. Global. They are user defined objects used to work with drives, folders, files, and databases. Already I told, end user point of view, this segregation drive, folder, file, database. But computer understands things in terms of files only. Computer point of view, everything is file. Drive is file, folder is file, file is file, database also file. See, we have several object models in UFT, in VB script. We have several object models in VB script, but our test automation point of view, 4 or 5 object models important that already we discussed. One is file system object. Here, what is the purpose of file system object? It is used to perform automatic file system operations. Otherwise, you can say just it is used to perform file system operations. Means working with drives, folders, and files. Working with drives, folders, and files. Files means flat files. Next, you know the class value. Tell me, Sultana Parvin, what is the class value for creating file system object?
Scripting
Hmm.
dot file system object.
Good. Scripting dot file system object. Next, Excel Excel application object. You know the purpose. It is used to perform Excel application operations. Muhammad, Kamal, class value for creating Excel application object.
It's Excel dot application.
Good. Excel dot application. Next, Word application object. Word application object. See, it is used to perform Word application operations. Word. Class value Word dot application. Next, database connection object. Arjun. Database connection object. Purpose, class value.
Is used to connect to databases.
It is used to connect to databases. Class value.
There is
Hmm.
ADODD dot connection.
ADODB dot connection. Connection. Next, Shivram. Database record set object.
Database record set it is used to perform operations on DB table.
Yes.
DB dot record set.
Good. See, it is used to perform operations on UFT. Footnote database tables. Class value ADODB dot record set. Single word. Next, dictionary object. Sultana Parvin. Dictionary object.
Dictionary object, it is used to define key value of pairs,
Ah,
and also like class value for creating dictionary object, that is scripting dot dictionary.
good. It is used to define key. Key means index. Key value pairs. Footnote class value scripting. Scripting dot dictionary. Okay. See, this is a brief introduction about types of objects in UFT. We have 4 types of objects. We work with 4 types of objects in UFT. What are the 4 types of objects, Anita? Just list out the 4 types of objects.
Runtime object,
Ah,
object,
ah,
utility object,
ah.
and automation object.
Automation objects. Okay. Okay. Runtime objects, test objects, utility objects, and automation objects. Next, one more small chapter. Earlier we discussed UFT tool window architecture. All 10, all 12 menus of UFT tool. This time, UFT test architecture. See, types of statements in UFT test. Types of statements in UFT test. Say we use different types of statements to create tests in UFT, not single type of statements. We use different types of statements to create UFT tests. I will introduce uh, maximum types, but based on your requirement you can use them. Suppose for one test, two or three types of statements enough. For one test, two types of statements also sufficient. For one test, six or seven types of statements required. Based on your requirement you can use them. I will introduce all types of statements that we use in UFT test. See, first one, declarations. See, generally two items can be declared in computer programming or scripting. Here we are using VB script. Two items can be declared in VB script also. Generally, what we declare uh, in computer programming or scripting, Jai Shetty, what we declare? Variables. Another, one more thing also there. See, we declare variables. Variables. Next, constants. Anyhow, that we will discuss in VB script chapter. Variables values may vary throughout the execution, but constants never change. Variable values may vary throughout the execution, but constants never change. Example. I will show a small example. Don't concentrate on the syntax. Say we declare variables using dim statement in VB script. Dim a comma b of 3 comma c blank parenthesis comma d of 4 comma 5. Say in this declaration four variables. A is scalar variable for storing one value at a time. Next, B is array variable for storing series of values at a time. It can hold series of values. See, 3 means uh, in VB script, arrays index starts from 0. 0 to n means n plus 1 values. Here 0 to 3 means 4 values. Next, C is dynamic array whose size is undefined. Next, D is two-dimensional array. See, in this two-dimensional array, first value indicates rows, second value indicates columns. How many values can be stored in this D array? Shivaram, how many values that we can store in this two-dimensional array? No, 4 means 5 rows, 0 to 4, index 0, starts from 0. 5 means 6 columns, 5 into 6, 30 cells, means 30 values. Okay, next, we declare constants using const statement. Const, suppose city. Ah,
Say that again, sir. The five means six values. Can you please repeat that?
pardon?
Can you please repeat the previous one more time, sir? D four comma six.
D is two-dimensional array. Put mute, I will explain. 2 is two-dimensional array. 4 means, see, in two-dimensional array, first value indicates rows. Second value indicates columns. 4 5 rows. Why? Index 0 based. Already I told in this constant array. 3 means 4 values. 0 to 3. N plus 1. 3 plus 1. 4 values. Here 4 rows, 4 size 4 means 0 to 4 values. Means 5 rows. 5 means 6 columns. 5 into 6, 30 cells means 30 values. Any confusion? See, city is constant name, value, Hyderabad. See, by separating using commas, you can declare multiple constants in a statement. If you take new line, again you need to use const statement. Variables also same. By using commas, you can declare multiple variables in a statement. If you take new line, again you need to declare dim statement. See, num equal to 100. For numbers, no double quotes. That is VB script syntax. Next, x equal to, suppose date format, hash codes 10/10/2010. Just we declared, it won't show any error. Done, just done status. See, declarations, one of the type of statements in our UFT test. Declarations. Next, utility statements. Utility statements. See, today only I used one utility object, system util dot run. Next, path of the AUT, application under test, if it is Windows based application. Next, system util dot run. Next, path of the browser, if it is web based application. These are utility statements. See, Windows application launched. Next, web application also launching. Utility statements. Say, I will use one more utility statement. Concentrate. Result reporting. Say dim A, comma B, A equal to 100, B equal to 200, suppose B equal to 20. If A greater than B, then MSG box A is a big number, else B is a big number. Run the script. A is a big number. Open result window. Here no result. See, just it is showing done status, means script executed without errors. Here we used our own logic. Define the result. Don't concentrate on the syntax. Anyhow, that we will discuss in defining test results chapter. Reporter dot report event. Report is utility object for defining test result. Next, make pass. You can use either 0 or make pass. Result step name, any meaningful name. Next, message, details are message. A is a big number. Suppose if condition is false, 1 for fail status, B is a big number. Run the script, open result window, say expand all, say result exported na, Surendra, A is a big number, status of result passed. Suppose B is 200, this time failed. Run the script, open result window, observe Surendra, Shivaram, it is showing failed status na? Say. See second one, utility statements. Next third one, important one, test object statements. Say test object statements, or you can say object calls. Object calls. Test object statements or object calls. See, this is important category. See, most of the statements belongs to this category only in our tests. See, in our tests, most of the statements belongs to test object statements category. See here, one test object statement may have one or more test objects. Already we discussed. If you want to perform any operation on child object, parent child hierarchy required. If you want to perform any operation on child object, parent child hierarchy required. If you want to perform any operation on subchild object, grandparent, parent, child, that hierarchy required. Say single test object statement. Single test object statement. Concentrate. Syntax. Test object of, within double quotes, object name dot method, test method, or you can say operation. Method is technical term, operation is business term. Example. See, dialog of login. Dialog is test object, login is name of the object, next activate is method or operation. Activate. Suppose if it is browser, this one, web environment, browser of Google dot close. Close is method or operation. Just a minute. Browser of Google dot close. Run the script. Just a minute. See, due to WebEx sharing, it is taking some time in my machine, but in your machine immediately it will execute. Closed. Next, two test object statement. See, this is single test object statement. Next, two test objects, two test object statement. You tell me the syntax. Guess the syntax, Anita. Ah,
I'm not sure.
okay. Okay, put mute. Test object of object name, object name dot child, child test object of object name dot method, method or operation. See example, dialog of login dot win button of cancel dot click. Suppose if it is browser based, browser of Google, any name, dot page of Google. See, most of the time browser name, home page name same, other page names different. Dot sync, sync is method. What is the purpose of sync method? That we will discuss in methods chapter. Next, same way, now you guide me, Anita, three test object statement. Put mute, Anita, someone. A high noise coming from your side. Put mute. Try to rectify the voice device. Use use headphones. You tell me, Arjun, three test object statement. What about that? I'm facing issue. I end with. Okay, okay, Anita. Disconnect and connect. Tell me, Arjun. Arjun, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Tell me, three test object statement. Syntax.
Not sure, sir.
Not sure.
That is,
Ah,
can I try?
who is telling?
Sultana?
Tell me, Sultana.
Yes. Browser?
Syntax. Browser is example.
Can I try?
Try.
Test object of object name
Test object of object name.
dot child object,
Child object of object name. Ah,
then again child object,
subchild.
and child.
Okay, put mute. Subchild object of. Ah, okay, okay. Object name dot method or operation. Any confusion, Arjun? Simple na?
It's simple, sir, but I'm not able to see like what are the activities you are performing. So I'm a little bit confused.
Okay,
Please
okay.
disconnect and I'll connect again.
Okay, okay, okay. You rectify the problem at least by tomorrow. Shivaram, Shivaram, can you understand the? Okay, okay. What about you, Surendra?
Sir, good, sir.
Okay, cool, cool. See, three test object statements. Just a minute. Record. Stop. Next.
Sir, 1 minute, sir. One question, sir.
Ah,
You included the test object and then you did the child test object, then you included the sub-child object, right?
mm-mm.
Same, same way, do you also include the grandparent object?
Just a minute. Just a minute. I will explain it. Stop. Observe. See, three test object statements. See this window. First is Windows application. Second is web application. Window test object, dialog test object, but sorry, child object. See window test object, dialog also test object, win button also test object, but hierarchy is there. Window is test object, dialog is child object, win button is sub child object. In another way, in reverse pattern, you can say, observe Anita, win button is test object, dialog is parent test object, window is grandparent test object. Hello? Understand the concept? Say browser, say in left to right, browser test object, page child object, link sub child object. Next, reverse pattern, link test object, page parent test object, browser grandparent test object. See browser test object, page child object, link sub child object. In reverse pattern, link is test object, page is parent test object, browser is grandparent test object. Okay, cool, cool. Welcome. See, I think all of you familiar with test object statements. Anyhow, that we will discuss in, again we will discuss in creating test chapter. Okay. Say declarations.
Sir,
Ah,
is there any limitation for test objects in a statement? Like here we have last one we have three test objects.
three enough. Three test objects enough. Three test objects enough. Suppose if it is four test objects in your operation, just write parent, child, and the last entity, sub child or anything. Okay, na? Three test objects enough. Suppose you have parent, child, sub-child, sub-sub-child, sub-sub-child. You just use parent, child, sub-child. Enough. Okay. Next, so far we discussed declarations, utility statements, test object statements. Next, fourth one, just a minute. Fourth, flow control statements. Flow control statements. See, in VB script we have two types of flow control statements. Those can be used in our automation. One is conditional statements. Another is loop statements. Loop statements. I will show one small example, concentrate. Dim A comma B, A equal to 100, B equal to 20. If A greater than B, then MSG box A is a big number, else B is a big number. As per that input, as per that values, this condition is true, then it will execute A is a big number. It will display A is a big number. A is a big number. So next, A 100, B 200. Condition false, then it will execute else part. It will display B is a big number. See example. Just a minute. Next, loop statements. Suppose for open order operation, generate the basic test. Suppose I want to open 1 to 5 orders for I equal to 1 to 5, step 1, increment 1. One increment is optional, default. One increment is default. For one increment, you no need to write this step 1. Other than one increment means two increments are -2, -1, 3, 10, use step. One increment is default. Say pass I as parameter. If you want to observe the test execution process, insert wait statement, it is optional. Put base state and run the script. It will open 1 to 5 records. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Next, calling actions functions. That is action calls or function calls. The fifth one. Action calls. Next, function calls. Action calls, function calls. Just a minute. Reusable components. See, generate the script. Enter agent name. Enter password. Click OK. Suppose I want rename this action action name login. See test name GUI test 4 action login. Just to save this one. I'm going to create one function also. Launch notepad like editor. Place the code. Make it as a reusable component. Don't concentrate on function syntax. Function login. End function. Save as VBS file. Suppose abc.vbs Visual Basic Script. Observe. I am taking new test. I am taking new test. Suppose for this test login required, login function already there. By associating that library file, you can access that login function. See file settings, resources, click add icon, browse path of the library. Okay. See object repository also required. Okay. See in this test, suppose single statement call login. See we are accessing external function from this library file. Single statement na Surendra.
Yes, sir.
Run the script. Executing na that login functionality. This is about calling functions. Just a minute. Calling function. Next, how to call action. Suppose in I am taking new test. In GUI test 4, login action is there. See, actions, functions, both are same in purpose. Purpose reusability. But actions belongs to UFT, functions belongs to VB script. Say, for this test, I want login. Login already available in GUI test 4. Call that one. Design menu, call to existing action, browse path of the test. Just a minute. Browse path of the test. GUI test 4. See, select login. Only one action available. Click OK. See, this is calling action. Read only. Run the script. Executing. See, it is read only. This action is read only. Here record also disabled. Observe this record icon disabled. Here you can't modify. See, this is calling action. Next, I will list out remaining types of statements. Tomorrow I will explain. Just last 2 minutes. Another type, checkpoint statements. Checkpoint statements. Next, output value. Output value statements, one or more. Next, synchronization point statements. Next, automation object statements. Automation object statements. Next, VB script statements. All are VB script statements only. Those are specialized statements. Example, dim statement, for statement, next set statement, etc. With statement, VB script statements. See, these are the maximum possibilities. See, first five we discussed, remaining five we will discuss tomorrow. Just last question for the day. List out the all types of we discussed maximum possibilities. Tell me, Anita, types of statements in UFT test. Nearly I indexed 10 types of statements. Maximum. Don't refer the notes. Just tell me.
Automation object,
Uh,
file system object,
no, invalid description. You tell me, Shivaram.
Declaration,
Declarations,
utility,
utility statements,
test objects,
test object statements,
flow control statement,
uh,
checkpoint, output value,
action calls, function calls, next checkpoint statements, output value statements, synchronization point statements, next automation object statements, next VB script statements. Okay, we'll meet tomorrow, same time. Thank you.